biggest thing is we have to get to know them. And by getting to know them, then we have to gain their trust. Because they have to trust us that we're going to help them, that we have their interest at heart, that we're not here to hurt them in any single way, we're not here to judge them. So I think once we hear their story, once we know what they need, once we know what we can do to help them, then we kick into action. My name is Johnny Hansen, and I'm the Executive Director of the Cedar Valley Hospitality House. Our guests arrive at 9 o'clock. We're open every day from 9 until 4, so they start coming in at 9 o'clock, and from that moment on, they have questions, they have needs. We try to sit down, visit with them, see what their immediate need is. You know, some of them, it's their first time here. They maybe had spent the night on the street, or it was their first night at the shelter. In June of 2009, I was volunteering over at one of the overnight shelters. I was doing a breakfast shift over there. And they had a woman that was there with 2 small children. And she said, I don't have any other place to go. She said, if I start walking to the library with these kids in the stroller, by the time I get there, it will be time for me to turn around and come back towards the side of town so that I can take them to Salvation Army for lunch. So she said, I might as well just go sit in the park with them. So I started thinking, well, my goodness, where do people go? What do they do in the daytime if they're in a homeless situation, especially a homeless situation with kids? So when I left the shelter, I drove by the park, and sure enough, there she was sitting with these 2 little kids. It was pouring down rain, and she was just sitting in the park. So I started thinking about that, and when you think about something like that, you try to push it to the back of your mind, because if you actually acknowledge something, you have to take action on it. She had ridden the bus here. She had met some guy on the internet. So she came here because he was going to be her true love, and all this was going to be wonderful. She arrived at the bus station that night downtown. She called him, and he said, oh my gosh, why did you come here? I didn't want you to come here. You know, I have a girlfriend here in this town. Well, she was devastated, but she also had no place to go. So she asked him at the bus station if she could leave her bags there, and she started walking with these 2 little babies in this horrible wind chill weather. She had no idea where she was going. A woman who I really to this day believe was an angel in disguise stopped her car and said, where are you going? It's too cold for you to walk with these children. And she said, I don't know. I have no place to go. I'm homeless. The woman said, get in my car. And she took her and the babies to the Catholic Worker House, which is very close to here. So that next morning, she came over here, and she stood in the dining room, and she just looked at me with tears coming down her face, and she said, why are you doing this? She said, we're not even family. She said, and you're doing all this for me and my kids. And I gave her a hug, and I said, oh yes, yes, we are family. We're all family in this together. And I think that was, it was just a moment of knowing that this was something that was needed, and knowing that this was the right thing that we did when we opened this.